Okay. Good evening, everyone. Good evening, respected Dr. Biswajit Das, sir, Dean, School of Languages, Dr. Biswabandita Kaur, ma'am, Dean, School of Yoga, esteemed faculty members, staff, and students of KIET University. A very warm welcome to all of you to this special webinar on Om chanting and its effect on stress management. Dear guest, as you know, the essence of life for every living creature is breathing. If breathing is not proper, then your body and mind is ruined. And when body is and mind is not functioning properly, then you'll get stress in your personal and professional life. So the essence lies in breathing. For proper breathing and proper stress management, we Indians have a solution, that is yoga and pranayama, which has been helping millions of people worldwide since the inception of civilization to have a holistic growth in oneness with the nature and in perfect harmony with soul, body, and mind. We will take forward this wisdom of yoga and pranayama today with a very renowned expert in our campus, Dr. Viswabandita Kar, who is the Dean for School of Yoga. Before I introduce her, I would request Dr. Biswajit Das sir to give his welcome remark. Dr. Das.
Thank you, Professor Samir Das. It's indeed a pleasure for having with us Dr. Bandita, Mr. Bandita ma'am. Very good evening, and ladies and gentlemen, my faculty colleagues, and all present in the assembly of a discourse which will be given by none other than Dr. Biswa Bandita ma'am, of whom I do not know how many of you know as to what kind of metals he has in the academic frontiers. As much that I know from the inception that I have in, he has done an immense job. He has huge number of patents, huge number of papers, huge number of funded projects. I mean, that apart, now that you see him as the Dean of Yoga, you see him in a different light altogether. I mean, those of you are academic oriented, want to pursue funded research, when you want to do research in multifaceted way, I would acknowledge ma'am as one who is numero uno in the field in the university and in Orissa by far. Having said that, the topic that she has chosen, I am immensely delighted because the topic is very close to our heart, all of us. As students of English literature, you must know that Om signifying a sense, symbolizing, providing ovation to gods, gods in different form. It has a Vedic connotation. So as much that I know, do not know much about it. The topic that I have chosen, Om chanting and its impact on stress management. Inevitable that everybody would have some amount of stress, and particularly in the pandemic times, yet. Having said that, the significance of Om and yogic practices, she would offer her discourses. I'm sure it will be pretty scientific and very much beneficial for all of you. With these very words, I welcome ma'am and welcome to the talk. And I'm sure that our students and all assembled for the webinar will be immensely benefited. Thank you, madam. Thank you for having been here with us.
Thank you, Dr. Das. Thank you, Dr. Das. Today's speaker's profile is the best example to show how science and spirituality can not only coexist together, but also can grow simultaneously in perfect harmony while complementing each other. So we have a scientist who opted the pursuit for spiritual practices through yoga and pranayama, and she's having the exposure and knowledge of both the world. Dr. Vishwabandita Kar is a professor in School of Applied Science and also the Dean of Yoga and Naturopathy at KIT DMTB University. She has a PhD in Extractive Metallurgy, Kharagpur, IIT Kharagpur, and also a dual PhD in Yogic Therapy from Swaso University, Bangalore. She has diversified research exposure in the areas of chemistry, material science, environmental issues, renewable energy, yoga, and naturopathy. She has been experienced in working at IMMT Bhubaneswar as scientist. She has been working in Haldia Refinery, Hindustan Zinc Limited, etc. With her significant contribution in waste utilization and management, she has been honored with Young Scientist Award, Department of Science and Technology, Government of India, Professor Arumugam National Award by ISTE, Rajiv Gandhi Sadbhavna Puraskar, Professor R.C. Tripathi Young Chemist Award, Vigyan Jyoti Puraskar from Department of Science and Technology, India Indonesia Iconic Award in the field of yoga, and many more. To her credit, she has 264 publications in peer-reviewed journals of international repute, 18 patents, authorship of 14 books and monographs. Under her guidance, 23 students have backed their doctoral degree, with 14 students are in continuation. And she has been the major contributor for funded projects in crores for the KIT University through her research activities, through her many diversified exposure, I can say. Madam, you are a gem in true sense. So
thank you.
now the
Thanks
mic
for your
is,
compliments.
now the mic is with you. Please share your experience about Om chanting. In fact, I would be the major benefactor for your discourse, because as you know, I've been a victim of asthmatic and I've been introduced to yoga at a very early age. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Please.
So, dear friends, now two topics have come together. One is stress and how to manage it. So, I'll go step by step. Stress. In our body, there are different types of cells present, which generally fight with different types of infections, different kinds of attitudes, different kinds of mindset that comes to us. Simply, I'll tell you, in a day, if plenty of classes, say as a teacher, if there are 6 classes you have to deliver, 6 hours stop, or a student has to attend, say 7 to 8 hours class, some kind of stress comes. So what is stress in general? If you see, there are certain hormones, and those hormones keep on getting liberated in different range, different scale. For example, many students are present over here. If I'll tell you, there are 2 major cells in your body that activate your brain, your mind, your memory, your living style, the way you speak, the much you become happier, the much you become sad. So everything is being controlled by different hormonal systems, and one is your B cell, one is your T cell. And generally, we laugh. Laughter comes from here, from your throat, this zone, laughter comes. Okay, when we become happy, we laugh. That means something is being activating this portion, this part of your body. And I'll tell you, it is the T cell. T cell which is being generated from here, it activates your happiness. And this B cell, T cell are very important to keep you healthy. Generally, what happens, students, when we are going for an exam, then there is decrease in the number of B cell and T cell in your body. stress comes. Stress means that is a hormone which act negatively to reduce the concentration of these cells, and it squeeze your process of thinking. It gives a very bad impact on your thinking, and ultimately it affect your immune system also. Though it affect your memory, but in addition to that, it affect your immune system. So stress is activated through different hormone, and from your brain, the most means dangerous hormone which controls and which activates your stress is cortisol. And cortisol secretion, if it becomes very high, then your stress becomes high. And if someone can control on this cortisol secretion, then the stress can be minimized. Today, I'll tell you many points in the body that can keep you happy. Then I'll come for the Om chanting. Each and every aspect of Om, how it is important, how many times you will chant it in a day, and how you will keep yourself healthy. Those aspects I'll tell you. So in general, chanting is a part of yoga and meditation. And all total, it improves your cognitive function, like it just improve your memory, attention, concentration, perception, and learning efficiency. If you keep on been practicing this yoga and meditation on these parameters, it becomes very active within you. And if you see for the yoga therapy has different parts. It has got physical therapy, emotional therapy, mental therapy. Then we can take it as preventive therapy, spiritual therapy, rehabilitation therapy, pain relief therapy, all this. So stress management comes under the mental therapy, which mostly is being carried out through some chanting, meditation, and sound vibration. Okay. Now coming to Om chanting, how it is important and why it is important. At the end, I'll tell you to chant Om for 5 to 10 minutes. All of us all together will chant, and the essence of it, you yourself will feel. Just remember, Om is the word that consists of 3 letters, A, U, M. When we try to utter those 3 words, Om, A, U, Ma, just you try by yourself, A, U, Ma. See, your tongue is not taking part in uttering those words Om. That's why the mixing of the words is being carried out by our tongue when we pronounce something like spiritualism. I'm telling it is a combination of words in which there is use of tongue. But if I'll tell Om, Om, just you try by yourself and you will understand Om. It is just a word that is coming from your mouth and your tongue is not involved. So it is a pure word. There is no cultivation. There is no mixing in it. It is a pure word, A-U-M. So starting with Om. Om chanting and Om. This Om is very well being explained by our Upanishad. Generally, there are 108 Upanishads which are being mainly classified into 10 major Upanishads are there. And in those Upanishads, one of the Upanishads is called Mandukya Upanishad. Okay. Mandukya Upanishad is very important in terms that in Bhagavad Gita, when Krishna was explaining about the fact of life, the fact of living, the fact of human being to Arjuna, he told, all the Upanishad tells us about our past and future. But the only Upanishad through which we can live our present is Mandukya Upanishad. Mandukya Upanishad tells us about the present. And what is your present? Present is our life, how we are leading it. Before coming to Om chanting, explaining what are the aspects of Om chanting, I'll tell you some of the things which is very important for all of us to know. That we human beings spend 1/3 of our life in sleeping. Do you people agree with me? It is being told 8 hours sleep in a day is very important. 8 hours means in a day, 8 hours from our life, 1/3, 24 hours to 8 hours, 1/3. So in our life, 1/3 period we spend in sleeping only. And sleeping is what? When we sleep, what exactly happens? Sleep means just somebody is going to bed and lying down. That is not called the sleep. Sleep is being carried out by a rhythmic way. That is called the circadian rhythm. Circadian rhythm. What is circadian rhythm? This rhythm is different for dog. It is different for cat. It is different for a elephant. It is different for a plant. It is different for human being. Circadian rhythm. That circadian rhythm starts with rapid eye movement and non-rapid eye movement. So the 8 hours, whichever is being given to us, 7.5 hours or 8 hours in a day, we have to sleep. Generally, doctor says, parents just tell us that you sleep for at least 7 hours. Okay, there is a limitation that a matured human being should sleep for 7 to 8 hours a day. Why it is being fixed? Because each rhythm present in the circadian rhythm, each part, at least it should be experienced for 90 minutes time. Okay, and if you see for the circadian rhythm is divided into 5 parts. One is rapid eye movement, first 90 minutes of your sleep. Then comes non-rapid eye movement. And very interestingly, I'll tell you, when we sleep, immediately eye movement won't stop. There is small vibration in your eyes. That means the delta ray which is being secreted from your brain, slowly it comes down. Slowly it comes down and the amplitude of the wave comes down. After that, we sleep. So our eye movement stops and our delta waves, their amplitude keep on reducing and synchronization takes place. Then what happens? Your brain starts writing a story, a drama, which you will be seeing as a dream. Okay. And that dream, when generally we see that dream is seen at the end part of your sleep, last 90 minutes. After that, rapid eye movement takes place, then we get up. Okay. So these 5 rhythms, these 5 circadian rhythms, non-rapid eye movement and rapid eye movement, in between this, we pass different phases of life. Okay. So if you take 24 hours of our life, then a person remains awake, then it dreams, then it goes to a deep sleep. Then what next? Next is a consciousness to an unconsciousness state. Okay. So Om chanting, how it helps a person for the stress management is, I'll explain you, from the circadian rhythm, when we pass to of your body, that means I am awake. Now we are awake, we are attached to our surrounding environment. Then what will happen? Then we'll sleep down and we'll start dreaming. In that dream, also virtually we are getting attached to our surrounding world. We are having different characters, father, mother, boyfriend, girlfriend, teacher, student, one elephant, one tiger, everything comes to your mind. Mind narrates a story, then you see the dream. After that, what happens? Non-rapid eye movement, a very strong sleep, where your consciousness entirely squeezed down. And after that, what happens? A phase comes when your body completely, your brain completely starts non-functional, and it works in a different world. It is not being controlled within this world. It goes up. And that state is called your state of consciousness. And in Mandukya Upanishad, it is being called as the state of Turiya. So first state is awake, waker, then comes the dreamer, then comes the deep sleep, then comes Turiya. What is Turiya then? Turiya is the combination of waker, dreamer, and deep sleep. If you combine these three, everything, if you combine inside, outside, me, my dream, my thought process, my aura, everything, if you combine, then comes a state which is called as Turiya. This Turiya, in modern science, it is called your consciousness. How much conscious you are. Okay. Every time a person remains in its consciousness, every time. But we have to arouse our consciousness to a state in which we have to drag ourselves from this external stress, external thoughts, external world, and concentrate ourselves in a particular part of your brain. And how you will be doing that, I'll tell you. When we utter Om chanting, when we do, just simply I'll tell you. Just we'll start with Om. That means I'm chanting Om. After chanting Om, my ma, I'm just making it a vibration. Let me do it again. Just if anybody interested, you can do it with me. Just Om. So this vibration, whatever is going, this is the state called the Turiya. You vibrate, that sound get echoed in your own being, inside you, outside you, everywhere. It creates a vibrational aura, and that particular aura helps all the types of stress hormone to get reduced. Cortisol secretion, scientists have been proved that cortisol secretion reduced to 85% if a person chants Om 108 times a day. There is a scientific evidence. Recently, I got that paper that if a person chants Gayatri Mantra 108 times a day, that person's lifespan increase 20 to 25%. And you have to do it not one day. You have to do it for a period of say 30 days or 45 days. The much you can accept, the much your brain can accept. So now coming to Om chanting, if it is being carried out properly, exactly what happens? A vibration goes to your brain. And I'll tell you, there are 7 different chakras in your body. Swadhisthana chakra, Muladhara chakra, all these chakras all together, it goes to which one? Your brain. This is the last chakra, Sahasradhara chakra. After which, everything goes to the universe. All your thought process, all your stress, all your strain, whatever you are having, your memory, your brain, every aspect in you, which is being generated in the form of waves, it just go to get mixed with the universe. So, Om chanting, it is being called that this chanting is not only being adopted by only Hindus or only by some particular community. Everybody can chant Om. Recently, I was going through some articles and I was seeing AUM. See, if somebody is having somebody says Amin. There also you see this A, M, words are there. U is being little. Means you people are more acquainted with all these type of studies that it is little suppressed, U is suppressed over there. And in many of the things, in many of the cultures, in many of the, Jainism is there, Buddhism is there, everywhere, the word AUM is always well adapted. Now, some days before, I was talking to a saint and we are discussing. So he was explaining me that what is Om? In Mandukya Upanishad, it is being written that a person has 4 different states: awake, dreamer, deep sleep, and turiya. So after these 4 tests, what next? Next is, according to Shastra, according to your Bhagavad Gita, next is Om. Then what is Om? Om is the existence of Ishwar. Om is the existence of Almighty. When a particular group of scientists, they started doing some research in space, they could find a very good vibration is coming from the universe. When there is huge amount of cloud, when sun sets, sunrise, combination of all this, there is a very good sound vibration. And they started recording that one, and they could realize that sound resembles Om, and it is just passing from a larger distance towards sun. So the sound vibration which is coming from sun, which is going towards sun, in the universe, the stars, whoever are blinking, whichever sounds are being produced, all get associated with a newer sound or a different kind of sound that chants Om. Okay, and always remember, Om chanting is such a beautiful therapy. And this position, if you sit like this during Om chanting, this position, what it gives you, see, somebody is in stress, I'll tell you. Stress management, how it is being carried out. If it is your palm, okay, this is your palm. So stress management, if you want to carry out, just remember, press all these tips, okay? Press all these tips at least 20 times a day. If you are feeling unrest, if you are feeling stressful, you are not getting proper sleep, and you are having high blood pressure, you are having sugar problem, all these issues, just press this tip, say 20 times a day. Whenever you are sitting in your office, whenever you are doing something, whenever we are just taking a cup of tea, in between you can do, just practice. And you will realize what is there, why it is so important. I'll tell you, in medical science, this hand surgery and surgery of your leg, these two, these are completely different. Means all surgeon can't do this one, because you see, when you just put your hand like this downward, okay, all the blood flow, everything is getting concentrated over here, because hand we keep it like this, hand we keep like this, and your foot, both the feet, what it is experiencing, maximum force, maximum means blood circulation, everything, your feet and your hand, they are experiencing every day. So science behind this is very important. I'll tell you, ladies generally, they are being told that you put a bangle, and now some new fashion has come that don't put. Okay. But if you put a bangle in hand also, it activates all your points. All these points get activated. It helps your uterus to get developed properly. Like that, if somebody is just keep on chanting Om every day, and not only Om, that vibration should be after Om, means Om Ma. After Ma, that vibration. When you keep on doing it, just see your cortisol secretion, all stress hormone secretion will reduce like anything. You will feel so happy, so content in yourself, and what will happen? Melatonin secretion will be very good. What is melatonin? As all of us know, this hormone helps us for sleeping. Melatonin secretion, when you are in stress, melatonin secretion reduces. It reduced to a higher percentage. Then what happened? Insomnia, then your sleeplessness, then somebody got Parkinson, Alzheimer, all these disease comes. Okay? So always take care of, so that your melatonin secretion should be proper in your body. And according to scientific investigations, if you chant Om at least 3 times a day, and after 15 days, your circadian rhythm will be completely proper, and this melatonin secretion will be activated. Means if when you feel like, in science it is being explained, in spiritual science it is being explained, whenever you feel like, you can sleep. Like a saint, you will have complete control on your body. Means when I feel like, I'll sleep. When I feel like I'll feel hungry, I'll eat. Every control will lie with you. And not a second person. Nobody has to command on you. Everything will be in a proper channel, in a proper way. And this will be carried out with the help of only vibrations that is coming to you in the form of delta waves, which will activate your entire body, and it will keep you activated to get mixed with the Almighty, Ishwar, whichever we call as Ishwar. Okay. So now coming to Om chanting. Om chanting has got scientific aspects, because science has proved that when we chant Om sitting in an erect position, and everybody, whenever Om chanting or any meditation or pranayam you have to carry out, so advice is you should sit straight. There are 5 points in your spinal cord which get vibrated when you chant Om. I'll tell you, these are the points. One is S3, one is L4, L5. In the limbal cords are there, spinal cord. L3, L5, S3, S2, S3, L4, L3, L4, L5. Om has got a sound vibration effect on this spinal cord. And if you continue this practice, you know, this back pain and spinal cord problem, your this aging process, it will stop. Then it has got a direct impact on your pituitary gland. Pituitary gland is present over here, this one. It is the portion, I'll show you. Here is our pituitary gland. And pituitary gland is the gland which is responsible for generation of T cell. T cell is the fighter cell of your body. COVID-19, this viruses are attacking you. Your body should have immunity. Immunity, it is the T cell, fighter cell, which is standing to fight. So if you want to make yourself very active and very highly immune, what you have to do? You have to make your T cells active. How to make your T cells active? You have to make your pituitary gland more strengthened, so that it will liberate more T cells. And to make your pituitary gland active, what you have to do? You have to do Om chanting. And if you continuously chant Om, diseases like your thyroid, okay, and issues like your cold, cough, whatever throat related issues, nose related issues, all these will go. There will be no sinus problem, no migraine problem, no throat infection, no nasal infection, and ultimately life will become very healthy. Because I'll tell you, when suddenly a mosquito is biting here, suppose a mosquito is biting here, this hand will come and just slap that one. How come? Within a fraction of a second, the neurons in your brain, this particular, whatever simulations happened over here, whatever phenomenon happened over here, it is directly linked to your brain. In your brain, the neurons tell something happened on your hand and it is irritating. So immediately within fraction of a second, another hand came to slap it and kill that mosquito. Okay. Somebody is pinching you through this needle. Immediately that pain, how it comes? Unless your brain will tell that there is pain, you will not get any pain. Remember, that's why you people must have seen certain old age people, what happened? They don't feel the pain, because that particular connection, this particular harmony, the particular neuron activities of their brain, they become slowly inactive. That's why they don't feel the pain. But for a normal human being, everything you have to realize through your neuron activity. So why I'm telling you, when we keep on chanting Om, Okay, you go to a state which is not your surrounding world, which is not you. Whatever you are inside. You are whatever you are inside, whatever you are seeing outside. It is not Om. Om is something which is the combination of your internal world, external world, eternity, your thought process, your brain, your aura, everything when is being combined, it goes to a state that is called Om, which is the combination of three forms of Ishwar, Brahma, Vishnu, and Maheshwar. Okay. So Om in Gita is being explained as one is the creator, another one is the Vishnu is the
Protector.
protector, and last is the destroyer. So these three forms are there, and I didn't prepare a slide, but generally all of you just imagine the Om. So different part of Om represents different aspects. One part represents your Brahma, one part represents Vishnu, one part represents your Maheshwar, and there is a dot in Om that is the most vital part that represents you. That represent you as something which is beyond your imagination, beyond your this physical world, beyond your sleep, beyond your dream, something which is related to God directly. That's why we say that if you keep on chanting Om repeatedly, we go to a state, we directly get mixed up with God. And remember, Om chanting, it has got impact on your ear system also. Some scientific data, they had shown that if somebody is chanting Om, with age what happens? Ear fluid imbalancing happens, then vertigo, all these types of things, means a little headache, so imbalancing, all this happens. So if you keep on chanting Om, then your this pituitary gland, 5 parts in your vertebral system, then your pituitary glands, then your brain, okay, then ear. All these things are being highly activated by Om chanting. And when we think of that a particular saint, you just imagine a saint who is going and doing prayer. So his state of mind is not within this particular world. It is something which beyond that. How you will imagine this beyond one? For example, let's see if gold, you take into consideration the gold. Gold can be converted into the form of a ring, into the form of this earring, into the form of a bracelet, into the form of a bangle, into the form of a chain. Everything can be done with gold. Just think of, if I'll ask you, show me a bangle without gold. Can you show? No. Answer will be no. Show me a ring without gold. Can you show? No. So that's what is Om. In your everyday life, each and every activity of yours is being accelerated in the presence of Om, in the presence of vibration, in the presence of Turiya. And that Turiya exists with you. See, your age will go. Your this thought process, it will keep on decreasing day by day. We'll become older, our body will go, everything will get destroyed. But one thing which will exist is the Turiya. You with a consciousness. That's what is Om. It is the ultimate existence of the world. And if you keep on chanting Om, while doing all the other activities, what exactly happens? That it gets a full control on your hormonal secretion. I have carried out a study with many of the patients, the lactating mother who are unable to feed their child properly because of less production of milk. And I told them, you keep on chanting Om and think of what exactly you want. And you won't believe, sir, within a period of 15 to 20 days, that problem got solved. I just, last year, we were doing a workshop for the blood pressure patients. And continuous 1 month, not much time. They were doing it for 18 times a day, Om chanting, which we people also will do, and 18 times a day for a month. And sir, I can provide you evidence. None of them are taking medicine now, all become okay. It acts like a thing which is not visible, but it acts much more higher than medicine. This on stress, on your lifestyle management, on your health system, on your brain system, on your thinking process, on your concentration, on your knowledge. Every aspect is being clarified and improved with the help of Om. Okay. So I'll tell you people just to close down your eyes, and the way I will be chanting Om, all of you try to do it. Just 3 times will do. If you feel comfortable that we should go for much more time, then you tell me. But 3 times, let me tell you to do the Om. Okay, all of you. We'll start with Om. Please do, all of you. Close your eyes. Close your eyes and let everybody chant Om like this. Start with, take a deep breath. Okay. Then Om. Do by self. And just find out how comfortable, how means fantastic you are feeling. So all of you can just unmute yourself and let's do it together. You people will feel happy also. Let's start. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Thrice we'll be doing. Just try to keep that vibration for a long period of time. Exactly. Let's start. Second time. 1, 2, 3. Start. And just practice it at least 3 times a day. Close your eyes. Just think of whichever thing you feel beautiful for you. Maybe the face of your mother, your boyfriend, girlfriend, students. I'm telling special it for you people. And we can imagine and Om in yellow color or golden color Om. Or you can think of any, whichever face is means approaching very appreciable for you, appreciating one for you. You just imagine that one and keep on chanting Om 3 times, then increase it to 5 times, then 7 times, and maximum 9 times a day. And keep that vibration for a strong, longer period of time. And when you are doing just see, means you are putting pressure on this, your pituitary gland. And when you put pressure on your pituitary gland, there will be generation of more T cells. And T cell, B cell. So B cell and T cell generation is very important for all of us. And remember, I was telling Biswajit sir in a meeting last time when we were sitting, one of my friends, he is staying in Hyderabad, he is a doctor, treating the patients. 2 things he is doing. One is Om chanting, Second one is nasya. I'll tell you what is that nasya in some other session. If I'll be called, I'll tell you how to boost your immune system, how this nasya, this jalaniti, then sutraniti, all these things helps you. What type of food you should take so that your B cell, T cell generation will be more. All these things I'll tell you. But two things he is doing. He is doing this jalniti, nasya, and om chanti. And during the entire pandemic, not a single day he could fall sick. So all of you, it's a sincere advice. Okay. Stress, what is stress? It is only your mindset, how you are accepting the thing. If I'll decide that I have to work 18 hours a day, my mind should accept that. My brain should accept that. My entire consciousness should accept that I should work 18 hours a day. Then only happily I'll work. If I'll think it is a burden for me, okay, so nothing will happen. I'll tell you, I sleep mostly 2 o'clock, 1:30 or 2 o'clock at night, and generally get up at 5:30. The circadian rhythm, I have reduced that 90 minutes time to say 40 minutes time, and I am comfortable with. So it is your mindset, it is the Toria in you that decides how you will be. If you allow it, and to allow that one, you have to have some weapon with you, which is nothing other than the Om chanting. So thank you. I would love to answer some of the questions if somebody is
Yeah, there is
interested.
Mr. Umesh has raised the hand
Sir.
for a long time. Mr. Umesh, the hand is raised for a long time. I think he's mistakenly raised his hand.
Okay.
Madam, I have a question.
Please
Just
tell.
you told that because we have a notion that 6 hours sleep or 7 hours sleep is essential to have a good life throughout the day.
Yeah.
But you said around 4 hours or 3 hours sleep. And how do you manage that? The body has to carry throughout the day, and how you carry with this?
Exactly. Exactly, sir. Sir, this 3 hours sleep or 4 hours sleep, mind should accept. First thing you should think by yourself that I'm not tired. The much I have slept, it is sufficient for me. Then you keep on practicing how I'm doing every day, at least 45 minutes of this yoga, meditation, and pranayama. 45 minutes a day. And you believe me, sir, after doing it for 15 to 20 days, I know Samir sir, you are doing plenty of, must be practicing plenty of yoga, must not be getting time to do it. But just keep it in your mind that every day at least I have to sit for half an hour. And I have to chant Om 9 times with vibration. Do it, sir. Believe me, after say 5 to 10, you will feel like everything everything is inside you. You don't need much sleep. You don't need much food. You know, sir.
You get sleep when you want, or you have a sleepless time also, because sometimes नींद नहीं आ रहा है मुझे वो होता है ना
No,
वो.
sir. Whenever you feel like, whenever you are comfortable, you sleep.
Anybody else want to ask question? Anybody else? There are a lot of.
Yeah, I would like to add upon what Biswabandita madam has told. She is my teacher.
Okay.
I'm also currently working as assistant professor in School of Electronics. I would like to add on what madam has told to Professor Samir. Samir sir, if we are having some family function in our house, during that time, even we will be on high, we will be managing so many other things. During that time, even if we sleep for 2 to 3 hours, deep sleep, we'll be able to manage all other things. Every day you think like that. Every day you think like that. Whatever work you are doing, you love it.
Exactly, sir. It is your thought process. It is not
that deep sleep people rarely get.
Yeah, very less number of people will get.
Yes.
In fact, anybody else?
But sir, see, I'll tell you, sir. My hobby, I'll tell you. Sometimes it comes like working in KIIT. Vishwajit sir knows that I generally comes 8:30, 9 around. I come back home. So sometimes stress also comes to me. So what I do, I just keep on pressing of this by coming in a car or something. I'll be coming. I just press all my fingers. After coming back, I just keep silent for some time. And deep sleep have to do either if you love music, just listen to some songs. My practice is I have to write. So every day, even in my bed, I keep some papers ready with me and I keep on writing. And believe me, after 20 lines, fully gone. So whatever thing you like, no, do that. Keep on playing. You want to have, means keep on playing in a video game. Just play it. You just feel like after 10-15 minutes, you will be exhausted and you will sleep. And that sleep is very sound and very strong, very deep sleep. And there rapid eye movement sleep won't come. Directly it goes to non-rapid eye movement and deep sleep. You don't see a dream. Just sleep, then after 2-3 hours, you will feel so fresh, things will go. All stress will go.
That's good. Anybody else want to ask question with a lot of?
I have a question.
Dean, sir, yeah.
For Om chanting, is there a specific time or any time you can do? Or in empty stomach or full stomach? Whatever.
Anytime, sir, you can do.
Anytime.
Nothing, sir. It is just anytime you are giving a delta wave vibration with a very less amplitude to your brain, to your body. And the vibration should be, if I would have present physically in this meeting, I would have explained you people how this vibration you can carry in your body. Entire body will vibrate and you will feel like so much energetic. You just, I don't know, many of you must not be knowing, but Biswajit sir knows me since long. You ask him, I'm person, anytime you tell me to work, I can work. Day, night, anytime you call me, and you will find me with the same energy. My student, he will explain. My class also, I'm like that. Everywhere, I'm like that. So you have to, first thing, you have to keep it in your mindset that I'll never be tired. Why should I be tired? I'm doing something, maybe for my house, my university, myself, or for other self. If you associate yourself within you, no, this kind of feeling won't come. I'm doing something, no. If I'm not getting benefited, somebody else will be benefited. So let me do. And especially Samir sir, for your asthma, whatever questions, means whatever therapies you had asked for, okay, you come sometime like tomorrow, this time, 5 o'clock around, I'll tell you. Some of the remedies I'll tell you, and some of the processes I'll tell you. And sir, you tell me after that whether this nebulization, other things you really require.
That's, I'm too much dependent on this allopathic nebulizing. That's what I want to get rid of. Madam, I have one more question because students are not asking, so I'm just going on. Brahmari Pranayam, how is it effective as per the Om chanting? Because that is also sometime I do.
Sorry.
Brahmari Pranayam. Yeah. Brahmari
Hello?
Pranayam. It's about a Brahmari Pranayam.
Yeah, Brahmari Pranayam when we do, no?
Yeah. How it is effective that Om chanting
Yeah.
and Brahmari Pranayam, how is different?
Those two are different, but the means similarity between these two is you are sending a vibration to your brain. Bhamri is what? You are keeping like this and you are chanting. So same way, there also you are sending a vibration. Om chanting also you are giving a vibration. So both are same.
What any difference in these two vibrations? Which areas they affect with the Brahmari and with the Om? Like
Om is effective. Obviously, Om is effective because Om, when we are chanting, no, there the vibration is going from your spinal cord to your brain. So this can be taken as completely Kundalini Jagaran. That is the part.
Kundalini. 5 Kundalinis.
Yeah. All the Kundalinis means all the part of your body, starting from Muladhara Chakra, Sahasradhara Chakra, Swadhisthana Chakra, everything then goes to Sahasradhara Chakra. So it is a Kundalini Jagaran, which we are chanting through Om. But when we are doing Bhamri, it is just Swadhisthana Chakra, then your Sahasradhara chakra. So 2 chakras it is, just attempt, you are just vibrating 2 chakras, but in Om, all 7 chakras.
One second, chakra. Yes. Now, ये नाड़ी शोधन और भस्त्रिका का क्या है? मतलब भस्त्रिका and नाड़ी शोधन. Is it also a part of
Nadi Shodhan Pranayam is being
Nadi
carried out. Yeah, Nadi Shodhan Pranayam is one which is being carried out. See, science tells when we breathe from your left nostril, okay, cold air goes inside. When we just breathe from our when we breathe from our left nostril, cold air goes inside. And when we breathe from our right nostril, hot air goes inside. So this is your Chandra side. This is your Surya. Chandradhara, Surya Dhara. And the middle one is maintaining balance between these two. Okay. So Nadi Shodhan, when we are doing Nadi Shodhan Pranayam, we are activating, we are sending some hot air inside, and then the hot air is spreading throughout your body. Then we are exhaling that one. Again, we are sending cold air. In a body, a process is called homeostasis process. Homeostasis means stability, balance in the body. So that balancing, that equilibrium is maintained by Nadi Shodhan Pranayam. And this Bhastrika, when we are doing, no? Bhastrika Pranayam is what? Just deep inhale, deep inhale, deep exhale. Okay. Exhaling with a very force. That means what will happen when we are just doing this? So your lungs is getting widened. When your lungs is getting widened, alveoli which are present in the lungs, which are get a balloon like a structure. When oxygen goes, it just get pumped, size is increased, and then it gets reduced like this. That's why your lungs is called fuspus. In Oriya, we call it as fuspus. That means air goes, comes out. So size keeps on decreasing. Some activity which is widening and shutting down. So this Vastrika Pranayam, when you are doing, no? So deep inhale and deep exhale, what exactly happens? Hormonal imbalancing, whatever happens in your body, that is being maintained and it becomes proper. In addition, your this particular nostril area, particular one, there intake and out means intake air and outgoing air, equilibrium is being maintained, and it helps to maintain your body temperature. You keep on chanting Om, your body temperature will be maintained. Your this happy hormone secretion will be very high. Your sleep cycle will be maintained. Your this hunger will be there. Your spine issues will go. Blood circulation will be there. And some 2-3 days back, I was talking to that one follower of Ravi Shankar ji. So we are discussing on this Vajrasana. Generally, we prefer to sit, means it is being advised that after taking food, we should sit in Vajrasana. So do you know what is the science behind that? Why one should sit in Vajrasana after taking food? Vajrasana means you fold your knee back and just in a puja position like this, both the knees just to the front, and you just in your calf muscles you sit. Press your calf muscles and sit. So while discussing with Dr. Our this surgeon, HOD surgery, he just explained that we are having 2 artificial heart in our calf muscles, both the legs, in which 300 ml of blood is present there. So when it is being advised that you sit on your calf muscles, press it, that blood enters to your stomach and your digestion becomes more easy. So in every aspect of your yoga, there is a science. Interestingly, this has to be exploited and people should know. I understand Swami Ramdev, he is not able to explain it properly. That's why sometimes people are laughing at him, then he is facing so much of criticism and all. But science should explain. And interestingly, I was talking to Biswajit sir, and we were talking about Nada Yoga. Nada means Swara. Nada Yoga. You know, Nada Yoga means how effective it is. listening to some people's voice, you become very happy. Okay. And listening to some people's voice, you become irritated. Your bad hormone flows comes there. And listening to somebody, there is flow of good hormone. This is all related to your Nada yoga. Nada means a sound, a vibration. So when we vibrate, when we try to vibrate the things through our voice, sir must knowing more means whoever are language people, they must be knowing it. This phonics and all, vibrations in the word. So it has got a tremendous effect on your body. Very tremendous effect on your brain. Because see, neurons means what? In your brain means, just imagine how powerful is your brain. Just think of, I'll tell that Satish just now, just think how you feel in Himalayan, you are moving in Kanchenjunga. You see, your brain will show you, you are in Kanchenjunga, plenty of ice is there and you are roaming there. Means with fraction of second that your mind has taken you over there. So this brain is fantastic. The neurons working over here are fantastic and they are so developed and they are so powerful, they can take you to any extent. But what science says, when this we think of something very extraordinary, what happens? There is no synchronization in the delta wave. So amplitude becomes very high. Your brain energy, your brain temperature, your head temperature becomes high. And what happens? High blood pressure, excitation, stress, strain, and pain in body, some kind of disease like that. So whatever you are thinking, that process always has to be within certain limits so that your delta wave vibration should not be very high. Your circadian rhythm should be maintained. It is not that exactly 90 minutes, every rhythm has to go. If each rhythm is going 40 minutes, let it be for 40 minutes for somebody, but it should go in a rhythmic way. If 40, all 540. If it is 60, all 560. Getting my point? So these things has to be maintained very nicely so that you can have a control on your body. And it is being said that you should take your dinner by 8 o'clock or maximum by 9. Don't ever take food after 9 o'clock. It's all because, why I'm telling you, I have experienced this one. Earlier, I used to take very late dinner at 10:30, 11:30 after studying something, writing something. Then when I feel like I'll go and eat. But what happened, you know? This is called intermittent fasting. Intermittent fasting, that means suppose today I'll take food at 9 o'clock. Tomorrow again getting up at 6 o'clock or 7 o'clock. After that, I'll take my breakfast, say 7:30 or 8. So there is a huge gap in the 10 hours or 11 hours of gap in which your body will keep on repairing. Because you see, your system, how much means, I'll tell you, suppose somebody is taking non-veg. I'm taking non-veg today. Today, if I'll take non-veg, and tomorrow is a day, I have decided tomorrow I'll not take any non-veg. But believe me, whatever food I have taken, it takes almost 28 to 36 hours to travel through this esophagus tract and it get digested to your body. So when we are thinking that aaj raat 12 baje ke baad, within 12 o'clock we can eat and next day we are our fasting is there, will not touch non-veg. It is simply a bogus thing because the particular food which you are consuming, it takes a slow process. It keeps on getting consumed slowly and complete cycle of 36 hours mostly it takes. So there are many facts in science and this spiritualism and day-to-day life also.
One of stressful eating. Sometimes people get stressed and they eat whatever they get, they're munching throughout the day with the stress. So that also accumulates as a fat.
Yeah,
People do munching because of stress, they take some food.
Because of stress, what happens, you know, sir? Stress increase your body temperature. And in science, whoever are science students present over here, sir, there are two forms of a fat, means a protein. One is your trans form, another one is cis form. So cis to transform conversion, trans fats are very bad. So when you take food in stress, mostly there is a rise in the temperature of your body, and the food get converted to trans fat. So that get accumulated in your body, and your body become bulky. Food should be taken, oil should be taken always in its cis form. You are getting my point, sir? Means double fried oil. Why it is means oil? Second time, why it is being told that oil which you are heated up. Second time, don't use that, because that oil get converted to from cis form to trans form. So trans form of oil, trans form of fat, they are very dangerous for your body. Body won't digest them properly. So if we are keeping some non-veg in fridge and after 2 days, okay, it is inside the deep freezer and we are taking it, believe me, it has already been converted to trans form. So that one, if you take, only your weight will increase, belly size will increase, nothing will happen. Okay.
That's good. Very enlightening, ma'am. Anybody else want to ask any question? I think nobody is there. So I would now request, nobody is asking question, I believe. I would request Dr. Sahil Mohammad Dilabal Hussain, Assistant Professor and Coordinator for School of Languages, to give his concluding remarks and vote of thanks. Madam, really indeed,
I just pay my sincere gratitude that I have been allowed to present this one. I feel very happy interacting, because I'm honestly telling you, like an elder brother, I'm having a very good relationship with Biswajit sir. And this is the person who prays all the times. He never means take a chance to tell anybody anything. He keep on telling that she is good and she is my sister. So it is a very good relationship, and I like the School of Language. That's why I sometimes used to come myself over there. So thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much. Samir sir, I'm going on means eating your head all the time. Thank you.
No, it's good. It's very means learning exposure, a lot of exposure, and in fact, it's very enlightening.
Thank you.
Well, sir.
Okay, am I audible?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So a very good evening to one and all present here. I am Sahil Mohammad Dilabal Hussain, Assistant Professor and Coordinator, School of Languages. And as announced by Samir sir, I have been given the responsibility to propose the vote of thanks for this session. Before I start, I would like to draw a brief, verbal sketch of School of Languages, KATE. School of Languages caters the need of English and foreign language learning. Over past 13 years, the school has evolved into a full-fledged institution, imparting its expertise to students through various academic programs such as undergraduate and postgraduate degree programs, certificate courses, and bridge courses. At present, we have 2 degree programs in English, BA English Honors and MA English, and have 6 language proficiency certificate courses. Mostly foreign languages and some modern Indian languages. We have also started with advanced English course model for the IELTS preparatory needs. We have a very energetic and seasoned faculty members in our school and language trainers catering to the academic needs of the school and the students. I'd like to invite you all to join our endeavor to grow more and take our school to the global. Now I'd like to start my vote of thanks, and none other than any other person. I'd like to start proposing my vote of thanks with our Honorable Dean, sir. On behalf of School of Languages, KATE, I propose my heartfelt thanks to our Honorable Founder, Professor Achyuta Samanta, sir, for his blessing and guidance in all our endeavors. I would like to thank Dr. Vishwavandita Kar, Dean School of Yoga, KATE, and today's speaker for taking out her time and gracing this occasion with her words of enlightenment, knowledge, and wisdom. Well, I must say that my perception changed today. What I believe to be the Om, I always believe it to be a part of a mantra, but which I learned is completely different. For me, the explanation of Om would be a physio-neuro-spiritual exercise from now on, if I'm able to put it in a right way.
Yes.
So thank you, ma'am, for this enlightenment in person. I am thanking you in person and also on the behalf of the school. Thank you, ma'am. I would like to thank Dr. Vishwajit Das, our respected Dean Sir, for allowing us with all the freedom and all the necessary help and guidance we require to organize this event. Thank you, sir. I'd also like to thank our very own Samir Sir, a Deputy Director, School of Languages, for hosting, organizing, and managing this event, and also giving me this opportunity to actually propose the vote of thanks. I thank all my faculty colleagues, our school staff, our technical hands of KIT for joining this session and making this event possible. Last but not least, I thank my dear students for helping us with certain management for the session and also for joining the session after the tiresome day of their classes. I also want to express my sincere thanks to all the participants of this session. I want to express that School of Languages is indeed honored and blessed to have the presence of such wonderful audience. Thank you all once again. I now announce the session as closed. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you, madam. मिलना है, Monday को I'll meet you.
Sure, sir. 100%.
नहीं, आप मेरा भी consultant हैं.
Yeah. No, sir. I just tell you after 1 month, what is your improvement? You just tell everybody.
Okay.
You take the therapy, and after 1 month you see. Okay, sir. Have a good time, all of you. Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank
ma'am.
you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.